Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charney, James, the Fat Man Stevens.
Hello.
We have Rob, the old guy.
Yep.
And guess who's back? For now, it's Ryan. Who the hell is this? Chris. What's your last name again? I forgot.
Persimmons.
And
Persimmons. Okay.
and hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mad Trio has officially reached 100 episodes.
Whoa!
Really?
And hold that thought. We have an ad.
An ad. Okay.
That is, if I can get the thing to work right. Today's show is brought to you by Audacity. That's Oddassity. Audacity is the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. Now, you can play Audacity online once a month on Facebook Live. You can also go to their website at Oddassity. Download a free quarantine pack of the game today. That's Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people.
Yay!
So make sure you check out today's sponsor of the show.
That's right. A real sponsor.
So, this just started out gruesome. If we're going to go for it, let's go for the gusto.
Isn't that Ryan's job?
Well, I figured I can help Ryan out on that one because I just saw something that's horrible and interesting at the same time. And here's the headline. If technical difficulty. So here's the headline from cinemablend.com. 20-year-old YouTuber prankster killed in Nashville were attempting a fake robbery.
A fake robbery.
A fake robbery.
Versus a real robbery.
Well, pranks and other hijinks. Wow, that's a great way to start an article. Well, pranks and other hijinks of the sort have long been fodder for YouTube and other internet-savvy content developers aiming to gain followers through the line between harmless and fun and needless danger. It is no longer as obvious as it once was in a recent example of pranking gone wrong. A 20-year-old was recently shot in Nashville as he and a friend were in the midst of staging a faux robbery.
Faux is
okay, wait.
I mean, they didn't tell the store owner what.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, we're talking about Nashville, Tennessee, folks.
So
Everybody packs.
I mean, it's.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was trying not to.
You were
say,
reading the story. Go ahead.
It has been
All
reported that on the night of Friday, February 5th, YouTube Timothy and a friend approached a group of people outside a shopping center with an urban air trampoline park. Wilkes and the friends were allegedly brandishing butcher knives.
Butcher knives. Okay.
_ bold. At the time, in hopes of drawing out more horrifying reactions for the video being recorded. The tactic apparently worked too well, as one of the faux crime victims pulled out a handgun and shot the YouTube star who died of the gunshot wounds in the same parking lot.
Was he streaming this?
Sounded like it, didn't it?
He was definitely recording it. I don't think he was streaming it because it doesn't say, because it just says recorded. I don't believe I'm actually.
It kind of sounded like he was streaming.
I don't believe I'm actually saying this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you happen to be doing said thing, don't do something that could potentially get yourself injured or shot. I mean, if you want to jump off a building without a parachute, hey, that's on you. But if you're scaring people with butcher knives in a very red state, it may not end well.
I mean, this kind of sounds like the stupid shit from the clowns. When the clowns were chasing people with axes and knives and all that stupid shit.
This is like a huge kid area, and when we were in there were a ton of tiny kids, and it's just like that would not be a great idea, especially if anyone was walking here and something like that happened. I'm just shocked that this would be. Hey, why would you do it in an area with children?
Now, how old were these people that did
20.
This? Well, okay, that tells you why.
Hold on. James,
I'm the old guy. I could say things like that.
James did a lot of stupid shit in his 20s, but
and he's
younger,
paying for it.
But he would have never done that. Right, James?
No, I don't think I would.
James would have probably been more likely to actually rob the guy instead of stage a fake robbery.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a purpose to it. I'd be like, actually give me your money. I'm bored of this.
The kind of dumb shit that we did when we were young was the kind of shit that we would have looked over at our friend filming it like, don't fucking film this.
So
What are you
this
doing?
is
Right.
Delete that right now.
Right. Exactly.
so this was like candid camera crosses the Running Man.
Well, you know what fucking sucks about this, about these kinds of things. I mean, I know fucking everybody. I've talked to fucking 1,000 goddamn people in my life. Fucking, one version or another of a Second Amendment guy. You know what I mean? From the just, hey, I believe in the Second Amendment, or I own a gun for home defense, or concealed carry permit, or law enforcement, or military. All versions from A to Z, right? Everybody fucking talks up the good game of the, if this happened to me, I would fucking such and such and such and such, and then I wish a motherfucker would, and you get all those kinds of things, right?
Yes, you get super cops.
Really, without fucking exception, everybody who is forced to, in that fucking moment, you like fall back on that, oh fuck, this is what I trained for, I have to put this fucking guy down before, you're me or somebody else or what have you, regardless, feel some kind of fucking way about it. So the guy who was like, oh fuck, there's a threat right there, I've got a fucking my carry pistol, let me fucking draw down on this dude and fucking start dumping rounds. In 5 minutes, he's gonna be, or 10 seconds, the guys are gonna be like, dude, it was a prank, and he's gonna be like, oh fuck, and it's gonna be the flood of fucking emotions. The wait, why would you do this? Why would you put me in that position? Coupled with, oh fuck, I just killed a guy.
There is something.
That's a good way of putting it.
There is a question I have though. It is, I wonder if the guy who shot. I'm like kind of curious on the background. Like if this guy a vet? Because if it was a vet, if he was like a vet, then this to him was automatic. It was
But
threat
still,
force.
I mean, not going to be something that he's going to be good with. You know what I mean? Afterwards, and look, I'm imagining a circumstance where this was entirely fucking justified. This guy had every fucking reason to believe that his or somebody's life was in danger. He did what he had to do. But I'm talking about all those guys who, quote, did what they had to do, and everything was even fucking Monday morning quarterbacking it, being like, oh yeah, no, this was perfectly justified.
So
those guys are still like, hey man, look, I had to actually like take a fucking dude's life, and that sucks.
Yeah. So
regardless of the circumstance.
The gentleman who did the shooter was 23 years old. He actually stayed after the scene, gave a statement saying, yes, he shot him. He said he claimed he was not aware the two would-be robbers were only filming prank videos, and he reacted in self-defense when pulling his weapon out and discharging it. At the time, no charges had been filed against the gentleman, against Timothy's death, though an investigation is ongoing to make sure the facts are straight. It's unclear if Wilkes' friend, who hasn't been charged with any crime, is the one who claimed the robbery it was intended to be a prank.
Most of this is going to go to civil. And so there'll be a lot of, the
He
parents,
said, she said.
the parents are going to sue, or the wife's going to sue, or somebody's going to sue. Everybody's going to sue. And this poor guy's life has been completely changed because he did what he thought was completely right in stopping the situation and saving somebody's life.
Well,
so that's all fun.
Really
and I was even
fucked up
talking about the him kind of, losing sleep over that kind of thing. Like, oh man, the back and forth of could I have done something different, et cetera, all those things. But now you're bringing up the other side, which I wasn't even thinking about. Yeah, the civil suit, the fucking legal fees, the court appearances, depositions, and
this could easily go on for 10 years. He could be dealing this for the next 10 years of his life. Look, I'm the only one here that actually teaches courses for people here in law enforcement. Let me tell you something about this. This is a very traumatic situation for the individual who did the shooting. And you know what? How in the world these two guys trying to do a faux robbery or a faux attack or whatever? I mean, you want to slap them upside the head and say, what the hell were you thinking? And that's the problem a bit with Utes.
Right? The Utes.
Let's just back this up for a second. What the hell type of discussion did they have? And who are his friends who didn't say, you're an idiot?
Yeah.
This
may not be a good idea.
Dumbass.
I have the perfect alleged scenario. So hold on. He's like, I have the perfect idea for a prank.
Yeah, there might be some drugs and alcohol involved with that decision making.
There's some extra
or lack of.
And this is just kind of what YouTube happens. I doubt any of you remember this or know of this. There was a gentleman named Logan Paul. Don't know if he's still around. He's a YouTuber who went in Japan. There's something called the Suicide Forest. If you're really curious, look it up.
Right. It's a real thing.
And he was in there filming jokes.
Just remind me to circle back to John Charney not knowing if fucking Logan Paul's still a thing. But keep going. I'm sorry.
I don't stay on popular YouTube celebrities.
I don't even know who he is.
So he
shows you the generational gap there.
He went into the forest and made jokes and did stuff about it. It was very, it was not taken very well by the Japanese or anybody who knew who it was. And
what it was.
He got in.
What it is.
Yeah, what it is. Excuse me. Got in fairly big trouble for it. And this is the thing about YouTube is there seems not to be. There's what
brain power.
I'm trying to think what was described to me.
So like all of us trying to get subscribers and trying to get people to watch the show. The whole idea is some of these people is doing the dumbest shit that you can possibly do to get attraction.
So unlike Howard Stern, who strapped porn stars to chairs and made them orgasm, these youths decided to get themselves shot by robbing people, or this guy decided to do something highly disrespectful and making jokes about the suicide forest. So there is something on Vox.com, by the way.
Are we done with that story?
No, but
I'm
yes.
just wondering because you're jumping around because I'm still confused
about what. Hold on, this actually leads into something.
Well, all right, go ahead.
So Logan Paul and the toxic YouTube prank culture that created him. Basically saying this article is about how, YouTube has this culture of toxic pranks. I hate pranks. I really dislike pranks. So it just seems like that's part of the thing. This is a YouTube star Logan Paul, this is 2018 on Vox. A popular vlogger for a family popular vlogger drew massive backlash on Monday and Tuesday for posting videos showing a dead body he stumbled upon in Japan's notorious suicide forest. The video, which Paul uploaded on the 31st of December, ultimately deleted. Basically, he thought this was going to be good. It's, one of these really toxic kind of stupid pranks.
Yeah.
It wasn't
did
even
it work?
Prank. It was just him going through and they come across a dead body and they put it on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
So everyone was like, why would you make fun of this obvious tragic circumstance, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody, to be fair, kind of white knighted that situation a lot. Was it in poor taste? Fucking sure. I mean, do you need to crucify somebody over it? No. And I think Logan Paul and his brother Jake Paul are both douchebags.
One of them has been challenging.
Fighting.
Yeah.
He's about to fight Ben Askren, formerly of the UFC. And the other one's fighting Floyd Money fucking Mayweather.
By the way,
that's a funny one.
So I'll put $100 on Mayweather. He's considered.
The odds in that are going to be negative. You will still.
Yeah. Nobody's going to take that bet. Sorry.
He's considered apparently, at least in modern times, the greatest boxer in history because he knows how to play the game. He may not be one of these guys that'll bash your brains on hard, but he'll win on points every time.
Yeah, but man, can you imagine the long odds on fucking Logan Paul? I wonder what that bet's going to look like in Vegas, or if they would even allow bets. Nope. If this guy happens to have a fluke win, there's no way I'm paying off this line.
Does DraftKings.com have? By the way, if you want to be a sponsor, DraftKings, do they have something where I can put $5 on Jake or Logan Paul? I'll totally do $5.
Walk out with $5,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if he somehow knocks out Floyd Money Mayweather, I'll be able to put a down payment on something.
No, look, here's the thing is that both of them are incredibly athletic. They're in incredibly great shape. They've just both been boxing for 2 years, and if you, regardless of my personal opinion on their douchey fucking personalities aside, even if I really liked you, I would say that's a horrible idea. Now, at the same time, if you gave me $100 million to step in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, I would take that.
I was to say, Mayweather's been, as far as I know, Mayweather's been boxing since he was a little kid.
This is 3 years old.
Oh, he's been training forever. I mean, come on. Unless he closes his eyes and it's a lucky punch. Mayweather is not going down.
He is the best defensive boxer that ever lived. And there's a fucking good argument that a lot of people would make of being best of all time in general.
I would still say Ali personally, but I'm incredibly biased. So
yeah, I mean, me too. See, that's the thing, is that part of that comes from my favorite, quote, favorite boxer kind of shit. Not necessarily the one that I would say is like, oh, best of all time,
Also for me, it's the fact that I don't like the way, I've never been a big fan of Mayweather's kind of smack talk versus Ali was hilarious. That just Ali's way of doing stuff always made me laugh.
Ali did, trust me, living in Ali did his own form of smack talk.
No, but he was hilarious doing it though.
Yes, he did.
He was.
But at the same time, not if you're the other boxer.
Right.
I think he told fucking Joe Frazier that his mother wears army boots.
Yeah, probably did.
I think that was Joe Frazier. I don't remember. He was fucking pissed. He's like, "What the fuck did you just say about my?"
Well, you don't want to say anything about his mother.
So set the way back to the machine to one of the old guys' favorite bands. So if you had to choose who had the worst cocaine and drug addiction in Fleetwood Mac, who do you think it would be? Mick Fleetwood or Stevie Nicks?
Oh my God.
I would think Stevie Nicks, but that's a hard choice.
Who's making this call?
This is from this is from the Grape Ape himself. This is from Mick Fleetwood.
Okay, so Mick's going to make the call. All right,
so
let's go, Mick.
Mick said he had been worse. He had been a worse drug addict than the bandmate Stevie Nicks. Nothing that he'd lose 2 years of his life in a result of cocaine abuse. His substance use became nearly as well known as the band's in the late 70s and 80s in their 15 Vision Dreams and Rumors. Nicks discussed cocaine use that eventually burned a hole inside her nose. So Mick Fleetwood's basically saying that he
did more cocaine than Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, which by the way is a hell of a giant statement.
I'm not. Yeah, who knows what kind of statement?
First of all, I mean, we could be simply talking about a body weight issue.
Oh yeah,
they could have gone line for line, but he's got 22% more cocaine in his line because he's a fucking big dude. Well, bigger dude.
Yeah. Well, no, he's taller than Jonathan.
Yeah, he's like 6'10", isn't he?
No, he's not quite that big, but
6'8".
I mean, he's pretty tall. But anyway,
speaking of drugs,
James wants to jump
why
in.
do I feel like you're saying that from a?
Are we off of the Fleetwood thing already? I was kind of into that for a moment, but go ahead.
Okay, you can talk about it a little longer. I mean,
I do. There's something. There's a quote I wanted to say though.
Oh no! All right, here we go.
Oh God.
Go for the quote.
There goes John messing it up.
I'm the only one here that's ever partied with Fleetwood Mac. So
yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't tell.
I did.
Because it sounded like you were saying he's taller than John based on personal experience.
Yes.
And I have that personal experience.
And yet
yes.
Rob doesn't actually say all the shenanigans that happen. He just says, I partied. He doesn't expound on anything.
I'm not saying anything other than the fact that I
myself either.
Yes, I did party with them all. And they're all great people. Mick's a great guy. I got to tell you, he was very funny.
So he says,
"You're my favorite kind of old person, there, Rob. The ones that had all their great times and came out of it on the other side undefeated. Like, hey, look, you know what? I can tell all these stories now and laugh about it.
That's right.
Because I'm not blasting cocaine on the weekend.
That's right. That's right. I watched them have a great time, and I had a great time watching them have a great time. So.
Yeah. All of my drunk driving stories are fucking fantastic because I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, said like David Lee Roth over there. He's, I'm a combat hippie, peace, love, and heavy weapons. Says it got out of hand.
You would think that James's story would have been more of a cautionary tale to me. Didn't help a
bit. Yeah, true.
And there you went, trying to emulate the madman himself. I mean, I think you need better heroes, man.
All right, so
back to driving drunk. That sounds awesome.
Trying to guess what headlights are the right one. It got out of hand after.
John, go butcher your quote up.
It got out of hand after the making of Rumors. Fleetwood recalled. I remember not working for 2 years. I can't even remember what I did. I was the party animal in the band for sure. I would venture to say Stevie was a close second.
I'll tell you what, just take a look at some of the videos during that period of time and watch Mick's eyes.
It's just a tad bit spun, is he?
Nah, just a bit. He had a hard time staying on rhythm without speeding it up. I'll tell you sometimes.
Oh God, I remember watching a
Oh
YouTube.
man, see that's the thing is I can't imagine what the studio sessions would have like how many fucking reels they would have gone through in recording just because everyone's so beat to the gills all day long.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
I can imagine the lead singer of Fleetwood Mac just stomping his feet trying to keep Mick on time, because I've heard stories.
Lindsay?
Yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham and Mick Fleetwood never liked each other.
Well, yeah.
So it was never a good time.
There's a video on YouTube somewhere of a drummer like just offbeat or not doing something correctly, and you can see the lead singer being like a horse, just exaggerating, going 1, 2.
Here's the beat. Yeah, I know. All right.
I mean, shit, you've got one job. You know, get it together, drummer.
Yeah, drummer.
One job, yeah. You got to use all 4 appendages at the same time, but it's only one job.
However,
They're going to make it sound more complicated than it is.
However, to quote a former worship leader, try when everybody in the audience is playing a tambourine and nobody's on the right timing, and you're trying to keep the band on the same time. So, you know, you're doing all sorts of movements. And
yeah, that's okay. All right, James.
People that walked up with a tambourine and started banging it near a microphone. God, mute those motherfuckers. I'm not kidding. I did.
Tambourines, and I appreciated that. Thanks, by the way. Tambourines are way too freely given to random fucking people.
Well, to make people feel. You want to make them feel part of the band. Here you go. Here's a tambourine for you.
Tambourine is
you want to hear every other tambourine on an upbeat. Just start passing them out.
Yeah, that's right.
Tambourines are a privilege, not a right.
Getting the mic turned on.
But I'll tell you what, I can sympathize with the speed up, slow down thing. Back in the day when I was still religious, played drums for the worship team at church. James knew this because he was the sound guy.
Yep.
He was there. Oh, okay, go ahead.
He was there.
Yeah.
So during practices and even during Sunday mornings, the piano player, who was a wonderful, wonderful piano player, named Marilyn, if I remember her name.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her.
By the way, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Ryan.
Move the story along here. It's only an hour show.
She was what you would think of if you thought of a music teacher. You know, like oh, I got this not elderly, but this older lady to teach my kids piano. She was the prototype of that sort of thing. You know, okay. the curly hair, this like straight mom figure who played piano. You know,
right?
And she had this really great natural tempo. And I mean, every other measure that we were playing, no matter what it was, she would just look over at me, move her hand from high to low, just like, slow it down, dude. Dial it back, kid.
Did you want to get a metronome out there for you?
Like, huh?
So you
There's
weren't
a metronome for you. Learn what a beat is.
So you weren't Taylor Hawkins back there, you know, the human metronome. You were the offbeat drummer.
You know, I had it dialed in at different times because what helped me out is I
pun
learned
intended,
how to play stealing all my dad's records, which is why I know all of your music, Rob, because that's all the music I learned how to play.
Good.
I think that was an age joke.
That's all right. I'll take it.
Always playing to the.
You didn't call me elderly yet. Elderly? Am I elderly?
Yeah.
No. Old. Go ahead. Sorry, stop.
But I was playing to the album, so I was playing to the studio timing of it.
Right.
So that helped me kind of develop a natural sort of a tempo in my head, metronome.
Right.
But shit, I get a little amped up, because when I started there was no drums at the church that I was going to, and I was like, hey, you guys should have drums, and I wanted to make everything Led Zeppelin. I was fucking Keith Moon at 10 a.m. on a Sunday at a church, as far as I was concerned.
I can hear Onward Christian Warriors with a massive drum beat attached. That's hilarious.
Double times it, it'll be fun.
That's a symbol.
Yeah, and I would show my displeasure for like the hymns that they would do with some like light cymbal work just to be sarcastic.
That would have been funny.
That's hilarious.
Good.
So have you guys heard of xylazine?
Gesundheit.
Xylazine. Sounds like a drug.
Yes.
Or small crawling
Three
animal.
This morning.
It is a drug.
Okay, it's a drug. Xylazine. Well,
Now,
you can't go by.
Apparently, this one has become a problem in killing people now. It's become the new deadly street drug in the U.S.
You're kidding. It's a street
No,
drug?
what's the street name for it?
I didn't see one. It's a horse tranquilizer, and when it said horse tranquilizer has become the new deadly drug on the streets, I was thinking, okay, PCP, you know.
So it's
But I was looking it up, and it's a version of PCP, and they mix it with. Hold on, there's a little.
So what he's looking up,
stupid thing in my way.
Xylazine's Xylazine, if you're curious.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
move along.
It's being mixed with fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Ooh.
Great.
Sounds like a
Nice.
dangerous
You don't
combo.
you don't want to even be 20 feet near it. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
there was a
imagine.
video
Yeah.
posted not too fucking long ago, within the last couple of weeks, of a cop fucking straight passing out, handling the evidence bag.
Yep.
Oh,
Like
Jesus.
went down. Like they had to come and grab this dude and like get
Man.
him like medical attention.
Oh, fentanyl's horrible.
That reminds me,
Horrible
there was
drug.
a group of
And
people.
This sounds like it's even worse.
There was a group of people
Yeah.
busted in our area that actually had a IV bag of fentanyl.
What were they going to do with it?
I don't know, but I went to school with one of the guys who got busted. That's how I saw the article. It's like, and I actually asked
I
another,
knew that guy.
literally, and I asked another acquaintance of mine who got in fairly big trouble for drugs, and I said, so what exactly were they going to do with this giant liquid bag of death? And he said, basically, they would dehydrate it, and they would scrape it so you get fentanyl powder.
Jeez.
That would work. You just evaporate the liquid. I mean, how
Sure.
fuck would I know?
Sure, but
It just
none
sounds
of
like
it
just
sounds.
a bad trip.
Yeah, it sounds really, really, really
Especially if you
bad.
die. I mean, it's a trip that's one way.
I don't understand all these people wanting to play with these drugs that have a very good chance of killing you. Let's give this a try. Sounds great. No, I don't think so. No. So did you guys hear that Elon Musk, one of my favorite people in the whole world, he just put $150 billion into Bitcoin.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Why
He-
couldn't have been Dogecoins?
He
Damn.
basically bought Bitcoin, is what he did.
Was it him personally or was it Tesla?
It was Tesla, but it's him because he's still the chairman of the board and doing whatever he wants
And
to
the-
do.
Yeah, I was
The-
going to say he would still know what's going on.
And the
No,
largest
he
shareholder.
knows, and 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. So he had to do an SEC filing, which blows my mind because I don't know how is a cryptocurrency even filed with the FEC?
Because that's the thing of
Well,
cryptocurrency.
SEC,
I wonder if he's doing it strictly to like legitimize it as a currency.
Well, I think he's probably trying, and Tesla did announce this today that they were going to, if you want to buy your Tesla, you can buy it with Bitcoin.
I'm curious in how that process would go.
Really?
Somebody
Yep.
brings his thumb drive. I want to buy the Model X. I got the money.
Exactly. That's
That just
gonna be
amazes me.
interesting. I don't get it. But I've said that before, and being the old guy here, maybe it's because I'm an old guy, but how is something backed with nothing? Of course, you can say that about the U.S. dollar.
Or U.S.
But-
dollars.
yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
but-
Wait. It's not nothing. It's the good faith of the United States government. Never mind.
Yeah, well, you're
It's
close.
the collective lie that we tell ourselves every morning that this piece of paper means something.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pip fart and a snare drum.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I guess it's another form of that. I don't know. But I know one thing. How many people have lost their passwords to their Bitcoin accounts?
So there's
Right?
like
Right?
Leo
There are
Laporte, a
lots.
famous tech, a semi-famous tech pundit, says he has 40 Bitcoin in a wallet he can't have access to, and it's a ton of money now.
Yeah, now, I mean, had you
That
gone
sucks.
into the beginning, I have to admit, another one that I just completely missed amongst the hundreds of others that I missed. But it was like if you bought Bitcoin in the beginning and you went to sell it now, you would be a multi-millionaire.
The biggest problem is how volatile it is. I mean, because it can go up and down quite a bit. You could literally be a millionaire next minute, and then you have pennies.
So how did not being a person that's ever played with cryptocurrency? What I want to know is how you take that cryptocurrency and make it into real money.
There's exchanges.
Sell it.
Is there?
I think like Robinhood.
You have to sell it.
Like Robinhood?
I think Robinhood does it.
Well, I mean, you sell it through an exchange.
Yeah.
You sell, and so there are companies willing to play middleman.
Yeah.
In this, and so that's an interesting business to be in because now they're taking a crapshoot on it as well.
And it's like I think it's more volatile than stocks. At least it has been in the past.
So interesting. It's. Okay. Well, anyway, so Elon did decide to do that, and I guess is the controlling holder for Bitcoin now.
And was it the Winklevoss twins? One of the alleged co-founders of Facebook. I think they have a bunch.
There's a number of.
I love Elon. He's my favorite billionaire troll.
Oh, I like Elon a lot. I tell you what, I like him so much better than Bezos. That anytime there's a story on Bezos, I read it, and he's leaving Amazon, right? Supposedly as right. Well, so now what's he going to go play with? So his thing is
Himself?
Blue Origin. He probably has, but so he's going to start throwing all his billions back into something that he's been ignoring for a while. And see if he can't catch up to SpaceX and start getting launches to the International Space Station.
Who, Bezos?
Bezos.
I was going to say, you mean paying off his ex-wife?
That he's already done.
No, yeah,
it's done, over with. He still has plenty of billions. So that's his new thing. He's going to go try to challenge Elon.
Every time I see Bezos in an article or a picture, he always looks like he has to pass wind.
What?
Perfect timing.
That's
perfect timing, little James. Good job, buddy.
He just decided to start yelling.
All right. Well, it was the perfect time.
Hey, that was comedy gold.
Oh, you call me. It's hard to call you.
Anyway,
just put my hand over.
Anyway, yeah. So Bezos. So for me, I don't know what it is about the guy, but he just rubs me the wrong way, and
because he's an asshole.
I guess really if you're a billionaire,
worth that much is going to be an asshole,
right? I mean, if you're a billionaire,
I'm kind of with you on this one, Rob. I don't know what it is either, but
yeah, I'm glad for him that he's a billionaire, but I don't know. I mean. If you put him next to Elon, actually, if you even put him next to Bill Gates, Bezos just keeps coming out to me as the worst of the worst.
So let's go back to, say, Bill Gates between 95 and 98 to Jeff Bezos now. Who would you dislike?
That'd still be Bezos.
You think so? Because Bill Gates was known.
Be a yes.
Because Bill Gates was known as being a flaming asshole.
So,
like an absolute, not like
he was
Steve Jobs level of flaming asshole.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different level. but no, and he was not the nicest man on the planet. There's no doubt about it. He had his problems. He was a megalomaniac. I mean, really, he really was. He was into his money. He was into his wealth. He was into his fame. He was into everything.
Most billionaires, trillionaires are, though.
Yeah, and that partly I bet what makes
how they made their money.
To a degree, luck has an awful lot with all of them, I think.
True.
But I think it's more the money. When you can buy and sell everybody you talk to 1,000 times fold, I can see that making you egotistical. Like,
sure.
Even if you did something horrendous, then you can just buy your way out of it. Like OJ.
Mm-hmm.
He bought his way out of a jail sentence.
OJ is actually back in a lot of trouble because he still owes money for the wrongful death suit against him. He's actually been out of jail recently, and they're coming at him again
They can't
for failing to pay.
The thing is they can't touch his pension from the NFL.
Well, yeah, they can't. Right.
So that's probably the only source of money. So what are you gonna do if he bought a house with all that money, does all these bills? You can't confiscate it, can you? Can you confiscate it? That's an actually interesting question.
So you can't touch his retirement, but can you touch what he buys with his retirement?
Yeah, that's a question.
That's a question, huh?
Yeah, that is a question.
So could you make?
We need an attorney to jump in here.
Could you make him homeless?
I have no clue. That's
and that is if
you know
he's
what?
actually.
No, I take it back. I bet that all his retirement money goes into a trust.
Mm-hmm.
So the trust is untouchable. So the trust buys the property or car or whatever it is that OJ wants. So that's what makes it untouchable. So
like the Juice LLC type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Juice.
I have no idea. And you know what? I could have gone all day long without hearing his name.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could help you.
Yeah, thanks.
But that was like the first time I heard that Pantera used.
Oh, who needs to hear?
It's like the first time I heard that the band Pantera used to be a hair band. So I could have gone all day without knowing that.
Because you like them.
I do. I like Pantera. Pantera with the.
And you get this mental image with their hairs all fluffed up.
No, I like Pantera the way it was with the lead singer Phil, not with this kind of Whitesnake look.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. I'm trying to keep you out of trouble here.
What I'm going to get mad? Like half the members of that band are dead. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Seems to be the way it goes, doesn't it?
Well, honestly, the Dimebag Darrell, the lead guitarist, actually got shot at a concert. Dude walked up on stage and was popping off rounds. It was actually incredibly. It was because the dude was insanely talented. There's an interesting.
I do know one more person that I don't like. That I actually put right up there with Jeff Bezos, and that's Zuckerberg,
the robot himself. Lieutenant Data.
I'm just trying to, you got me thinking. James got me thinking. I think about that, and I started going, yeah, okay. Zuckerberg's in that same. He's such a dweeb. I want to punch him right in the nose. He
reminds me of a Dalek without with that weird like salt and pepper shaker look, doesn't he?
He's very weird. I know. I'm sorry. The next story.
Doctor Who robot thing.
Yeah, that's what he reminds me of. Like always trying to destroy shit. I don't know why, but every time I see him, and I'm not a big fan of Doctor Who, but that's what he reminds me of. Or a Weeping Angel.
How does a billionaire also have the worst haircut in the world?
So somebody explained this to me because I guess they interviewed like Steve Jobs, because he never wore like suits or
deodorant,
like whatever. He
had that one T-shirt look.
Yeah, Bill Gates kind of had the same thing where he wore basically the same outfit early on, you know, and I guess people were asking that question, like, why aren't you guys, wearing your money type thing? And it was explained that they're so busy in the morning that when they go to leave, they don't want to have to go through a bunch of outfits. And they could always have somebody, do it for them, but they just decided that they would just pick out the simplistic thing.
Yeah, you know what? That was the story that was passed along. And I tell you what, there's the other reason I love Elon Musk. The guy wears suits. The guy wears nice clothes. He changes his look. He's got a great haircut. There's the man.
You know, my favorite thing about Elon Musk, though, honestly, he gives bad interviews. And that may sound weird, but the fact that so many of these, Bill Gates to some degree, Steve Jobs was 100%, Bezos 100%, like they're so practiced and polished, and you're like, this dude's not capable of using a calculator. I mean, look at this motherfucker. But you look at Elon, and you can tell he's a normal guy. He's one of these guys who's like super intelligent that sometimes has a problem dumbing down what he wants to say so everybody can get it, because what he's thinking about is just a different level than most people.
I'm not going to say that, he's the most perfect man in the world, because I've read some interviews of people that have worked with him.
Rob.
Right. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I like the guy, but there is a limit, because I've heard from some of his employees and people that worked around him that he can also be an asshole like everybody else.
You're surprised by that?
No, not at all, actually.
I don't think he's Steve Jobs' asshole, but I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard that because he works so hard, like 100 and some odd hours a week, he expects the same amount of passion.
He's been known to, sleep right there on the floor and not leave until they solve a problem. And that's partly what's made him successful. He works until he gets that problem solved.
By the way, how annoying would that be? You get into work and there's your boss sleeping on the floor and you're like, fuck, I wonder if he heard me. It's like, I'm
Did
just
you hear me come in? Damn.
Just slowly back away, like one of those robbers of Scooby-Doo movie, and then shut the door. It's like, I'm just going to go home.
Yeah, it's about the time that you hear the bag of potato chips that you walked in with go crunch.
Exactly.
And it wakes them up, right?
Like, fuck.
So
Where have you
anyway,
been?
yep.
Get to work.
Get to work. Now, what are you doing? I slept here on the floor. You damn, bet you're fired. And okay. And then come back the next day and apply for the job and get your job back. That's apparently the way it works.
No, not even that. Steve Jobs, who used to be a guy that walked behind him and said, he's just having one of those days. You're not fired. Don't worry. The funniest thing about Steve Jobs is I've heard over and over and over again that he stunk. They said the one thing everybody would say about Steve Jobs is he had the hygiene of a 2-year-old.
Huh.
Because he ate like nothing but fruit and all this stuff. He thought he didn't stink. I swear I read somewhere that somebody caught him sticking his feet, like cleaning his feet in the toilet, or like, if you put your like, what was it? Like you're putting your feet in Epsom salt to do something. Like I've heard a number of stories of just some of the funky things he did.
The problem is that, you don't know if half the stories are true or not, but
it's all part of the common mythos of the man though. Right. So that's true.
Apparently he was
odd.
Yeah, and it comes from a lot of times that he spent time on that farm where he was.
Well, that's just odd. Is the reason I like Elon Musk, though. I mean, the guy comes across like a fucking mad scientist.
He does, and I love that. I love a mad scientist.
Yeah, no shit.
Basically, the closest thing that we have to is Tony Stark these days.
Yeah,
so whatever.
Yeah, basically is.
Well, Tony Stark or Lex Luthor?
Tony Stark.
I don't know. Lex Luthor ran for president and everybody loved him, and except for the good guys. You never know. He could be a Lex Luthor type.
Could be.
Or a Dr. Claw.
I mean, we don't really know.
Luthor was just misunderstood.
And I'm going to say
he really was.
He was a ginger.
I'm going to. Geez. I'm gonna.
As long as he's not a Karen, we're good with it.
Oh, jeez. Thanks for bringing that character up. I'm gonna say he's Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. I'll claim it.
Okay. Well, anyway, there must be some other story there. Anybody a football fan?
No, but however, I'm happy Tom Brady completely annihilated the Chiefs.
Well, my whole thing is I had to root for the old guy. I had no choice.
I was
didn't even watch it.
Oh, I did.
I didn't.
It's on brand.
True. I wanted Brady just because a particular family member is a Chiefs fan. I'm like, okay, now I want them to absolutely annihilate him.
It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it.
By the way, I'm surprised how bad it was like, what was it, 9-36 or
yeah, it was
9-39. It was a spanking.
Kansas City did not. It just was not their game.
They didn't show up.
They showed up. They just nothing went their way. Yeah.
Though
They had so many penalties at one point. It was like, every call was penalty after penalty after penalty. You just can't play that.
So it was like watching a Raiders game.
Yeah, to a degree. The old Raiders.
Now, I guess the question is, how many were their first string? Or were there a whole first string there? Or were there people out because of COVID?
they did have that problem too, but so did Tampa Bay. So you can't really use that as an excuse. I won't accept that, because your second string should be just as good as your first, just slightly.
Especially when you're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we're talking about professional teams here. I mean, that's their jobs, man. They damn well better be good.
Well, I don't think as many have jobs now as did.
Oh, there's going to be a major shakeup in the NFL. There's going to be a whole bunch of new coaches, everything. COVID year has been a terrible year anyway for any professional sports and any professional teams. But this year was particularly bad for many teams that were expected to do a lot better than they did. So we're going to see major shakeups.
I actually heard something interesting a few months ago. It said some of these baseball or one of these sports, fairly major sport, actually has contract negotiations coming up for the alphabet channels. And because when they renegotiated the channels the first time, they got really good rates because it was really popular. And because the reality is sports have been declining for some reason that nobody can figure out, that they have considerably less viewers than they did before.
Most sports actually have considerably less viewers than they did before. Even what was it? WWE was saying that they had terrible ratings at like 2000.
Well, I can explain WWE. I can't explain everything else.
True.
Well, WWE particular is because once you let wrestling out of the bag, you realize what it is, and you don't have good storyline, and there's that je ne sais quoi that's missing. It's basically watching a high school play, and it's awful. But with sports, when you have people who
watches wrestling for the storyline, John? I've been saying this to you forever. I just don't see a good storyline coming from. I mean, it's like watching a soap opera.
Yes,
it very much is.
But the problem with modern wrestling, especially WWE, is everybody wrestles the same, everybody talks the same, everybody is the same. So it's kind of like everybody's Eminem from the Slim Shady music video. So that's the problem. Everybody's the same. All the stories are like saying the things that would draw you to it are super repetitive. So why watch something that you've already seen 1,000 times? Now, I don't know why NFL football or sport like baseball, I don't understand why those are declining. But the only thing I could say for me personally is I watch sports when I do watch sports is to get away from politics and the court of the realm. And nowadays, since politics has kind of invaded everything, I don't watch sports because I don't want to hear the announcer talk about some political thing. I literally just want them to watch him call a fly ball or a penalty hat trick or, I
don't know. If you listen to the radio version of the streaker from the Super Bowl, it's pretty damn hilarious.
Oh, dude, I love the radio versions of sports. I just can never find them.
I actually heard the announcer, because I guess CBS cut off when the streaker took the field for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
But there was an announcer that was still on the radio, and he just brought it into his whole spiel and started calling it and saying, he's down to the 10, he's down to the 5, he skids at the 1.
So Tony Romo,
pull your pants up, man. Bring your pants back up.
Tony Romo was doing hilarious. the color for CBS. Tony Romo said, God, can you see how fast that guy can run? They need to write him. They need to book him right now, man. Sign him up. He can run.
Of course, he has to be practically naked.
Yeah, but it's like everybody was quite impressed with that streak.
But I just don't understand. I mean, as far as the ratings of professional sports go, I don't get it. I mean, I stopped watching it a long time ago just because it got boring to me. I mean, it's been the same thing. And then all they really do is just make it more difficult for the players to actually keep making the plays because they're worried about injuries. But as far as I'm concerned, they're paid millions of dollars to play a sport that they know they can get injured in.
And football I find annoying because every play is like a 20-minute rewind and slow-mo. Yeah. And it's like, I just get rid of all the replay so I can watch the game in an hour and a half.
That has been an argument that's been going on since they brought it in. And it's still an argument that's been going on. It's, and that's the one thing that's interesting enough about the Super Bowl. I don't remember any replays. I mean, it was actually an amazing game as far as that goes. What I think it is with sports, it's very interesting. I was sitting here while you guys are talking, trying to think if I knew anybody still who was an absolute sports fanatic.
I know one.
And I think that may be partly what we're going into as to why the numbers are declining with professional sports as far as TV, broadcast professional sports go. Is that it is, you usually start getting your excitement about what a sports is in, junior high into high school. So if you have high school basketball, high school football, high school baseball, whatever it may be, that's where you really start developing your sportsality, shall we call it, where, you really go, hey, this is cool. It's great. It's fun to watch. I mean, And I think because of some of the decline that we've seen in school athletics, I mean, this is getting pretty deep into the weeds here, but I'm wondering if there isn't a way of looking at what's happening with the decline of sports in schools versus the decline of sports fanatics.
That could be it, I mean, because you get a lot of the sports programs these days, and I know locally they're not as
No.
big of a deal as they used to be.
No way, man. There's no.
So
would you also
I don't know
add
about nationwide, but I know about locally in our county, it's not as big of a deal as it used to be. But
I don't think it's unique to just our area.
Would you also add more content available too?
Because there's a lot of distraction.
Well,
there's no doubt about that.
Back in your day, you had like 3 or 4 channels, and if it was a football game and nothing else was entertaining, that would be the thing you would watch.
True. That's true, but
that's a good point.
I grew up, but here's the other thing. I grew up with a father he loved his sports. I mean, we went to hockey games, we went to baseball games, we went to football games. I mean,
it helps that he never had to wear a catcher's mitt to play baseball.
True, true. But the fact is that was part of it. I mean, I grew up with a sports fanatic. I mean, the guy loved the sports, and that's the way it was. And so that was a form of entertainment back then. That was a big thing. Where now, I think John just brought it up. The distraction. There's so many things that maybe that's partly eating into it as well.
I'm kind of wondering. For me, it's the medium, though. I love listening to baseball on the radio. There's something about it. It's the announcers. It's the theater of the mind. Like, I actually sat down and listened to, was it the 1937, 1938 World Series from top to bottom. And it was just, it was fun listening to this game that anybody who was, nobody alive today remembers this game type of thing. And it was just fun. And I've listened to other sporting events like Sacramento has the River Cats. I've listened to a couple of games. I love it because I love that medium. And watching sports to me is not as exciting. This was the first year that I was
in stadium for it than watching it on television. That's a whole different thing, though.
Yeah. Like, I was actually looking forward to this year's opening game of Major League Baseball until I started talking politics. And that's what turned me out, because I was like, I wanted to sit down and watch a couple of games and just because this has been such a stressful year.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things leading into it. It'd be interesting to know how ticket sales are going for. I mean, this year doesn't count. All right. Obviously, if you owned a stadium, a football stadium or a baseball stadium or a basketball team or whatever, this wasn't the year for you to sell seats and make your money. There's no doubt about it.
You're asking
right?
Bank of America saying, "Hey, would you mind if I skip a couple of payments?"
Yeah. So, but I'm wondering, prior to COVID, I wonder how sales were going in general. If the season sales were holding strong.
I've never heard anybody complain about the actual seats. I've always heard it's always the television audience. It's the television ratings.
Football, it's got such it's funny too how the fans that follow the different sports follow it in different ways. It's really interesting. I mean, football, when you think of football, and especially when you're a fanatic, what do you think about? You think about tailgating and all the parties are going on in the parking lot while the game's going on inside there, and everybody's in the parking lot. They don't even have tickets to the game. They'll go and say, "Hey, the party's in the parking lot. The heck with going in the stadium. I can watch it or listen to it and have just as much fun, but be with a bunch of people and have a good time."
I actually think that maybe that's part of it. Maybe, and this is kind of a crapshoot, maybe like people aren't really, like, I love watching sports with people, and maybe like people don't really gather as much. Like this year you couldn't, but maybe there's not that. You get a bunch of friends together on Super Bowl Sunday or opening day, you're eating chips and, having the.
I really think you hit on something. I was thinking that yesterday while I was watching the Super Bowl game, and I was looking back to all the games and all the times that we had, 20 people over and we're, having a great time and barbecuing and eating chips, like you said, and watching TV and cheering and that's all gone. I mean, particularly for this year. Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
James, we used to go to a friend of James's house once in a while to watch UFC game fights, and I was like, I love that because I love that communal experience of men and women getting together and watching sports, or it could be the Olympics for all I really care, but I love that that just that fellowship of people getting together and hanging out.
Yeah,
and I don't think we get it today as much.
No, I don't think we do. And this year has been awful. And, there's a whole series of things that we can relate that to. But it's a very interesting thing about sports. What is going on with it, and why are people kind of tuning out at sports? And if they are, I mean, wrestling was a whole different story. But, I think they're all affected by it. NASCAR seems to have its problems. PBR, professional bull riding, I know they're in the tank. I mean, if you can't fill the seats in the stadiums, they are really hurting.
I would say for wrestling is a special cause, like WWF and WWE, just because of what it actually is. I think if for WWE specifically and wrestling, it's all about booking and stories and driving. And the wrestling, a gentleman by the named Jim Cornette, who's an incredibly famous wrestling manager, always says wrestling does best when it's presented as real. England had a thing called World of Sports, where basically they had rounds and they did this. And when you present it as real, it's good. But if it's like basically cartoon crashes like it is now, it does bad. So that's what he says. It's because they're not presenting it the right way.
It certainly never had my interest. So yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. I may be onto something. I don't know.
So before we get going, and we're talking about lack of being together, today's sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Audacity. That's Oddassity. Audacity is the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. Now, you can play Audacity online once a month on Facebook Live. You can also go to their website at Oddassity. Download a free quarantine pack of the game today. That's Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people.
Boy, talking about bringing a commercial in hotter than everything else.
Actually,
I had to pull out my monitor.
It did seem to play hot into my headphones. Let's get a test again. Today's show.
No. They got their plug for their money's worth. Crickets.
That's hilarious. And
is Ryan still with us? I haven't heard him pick up.
Ryan,
I'm
He's
here.
sleeping.
All right, I thought you were either sleeping or eating. I couldn't figure out.
Well, see, I was trying to wake the dead with Ryan over there since he's been awfully quiet.
Well, I got to cut him some slack. Look where he's living and working.
Why? We've never cut him slack before. Why would we start now?
I take it back.
What's the Friar Club's roasting? We only roast the ones we love.
Yeah. Well.
In this case, Ryan's an exception.
All right. We could probably actually almost hit 1 hour on the mark here.
We've got more time. Oh, you guys got to check out Chris Hemsworth's build for the new Thor 4. Apparently, he's so big, his stunt double is having issues matching his size.
Yeah, I heard
really?
that too.
Is that the truth, or is that?
Well, this is from Movie Web, I guess.
Why would he do that? Is he on roids? Is he roiding it out?
From what I've heard, he has an article saying like he's noticing that if he doesn't work out for a day or two, his body actually starts having issues. So he says he has to work out and has to do this. And
oh Lord!
So yeah, he's huge. I could see it.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know. You're asking also the fact allegedly he's supposed to play Hulk Hogan in an upcoming biopic. Oh. So he's probably trying to get those 24-inch pythons, brother.
Why would you want to play? Does he have to shave his head?
I don't know. Well, Hulk Hogan back in the day had hair, but don't forget Hulk Hogan was probably...
I don't want to piss off Hulk. So.
He was probably, and probably still is to some degree, the biggest recognized name in wrestling up to a few years ago. He was the thing that really brought wrestling to the mainstream.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Yeah.
His movies sucked, but,
Oh, come on.
Whatever.
Suburban Commando was an epic movie that had The Undertaker in it.
God.
Oh, by the way, just a PSA, if anybody has an iPhone 12 and you have a pacemaker, don't put it up to your heart. It'll stop it.
So... Was that actually proved? I mean, did we, you know, did we get somebody with a pacemaker that volunteered? Here, put your phone up.
So this is from
my pacemaker stops.
So apparently they're actually saying that it can cause issues, that's not uncommon. Strong magnets have always been known to cause issues with pacemakers, but apparently because of that, it's something in it that's actually having issues. We'll talk about it a little bit later, coming up in next week if I can remember.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. I just
and this is kind of my grab bag. Also, Marilyn Manson is being accused of being a very shitty person and a possibly Me Too violator. By the way, if you had to pick somebody that you thought would be a crazy, creepy asshole,
Marilyn Manson would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Alice Cooper going, I would have never expected. So, ladies and gentlemen,
wait. Before you do the finish, I realized I have one pet peeve I want to bring up.
Oh.
All right.
And I was writing us up to the minute.
I know, you were ready. He was wound up. I was ready for him to end it, but I've been meaning all night trying to remember what my pet peeve is, and it came to me. So, how many of you guys have bought into streaming services? Like Disney Plus, CBS All Access.
Yes.
I'm up to my fucking elbows in streaming services.
Okay. So here's what's happening, and it's blowing my mind. I'm sitting here going, all right, now I'm going to go watch this show. I want to watch this show. And I go, what fucking streaming service is it on? And so I have to go through like 8 or 9 or 10 different streaming services until I can figure out where that damn show is at.
Google it.
So you have to consolidate it.
I mean, yeah. Now, so here's for you guys out there, like the code, right? So you can write an app that'll, consolidate all these programs together. So you punch it up and it tells you right where it is and goes right to it. So Apple TV
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah. So so I really have an idea for a coder out there.
I actually think Apple TV, if I think they can search stuff within apps.
Yeah, I know. But you know what's really weird about Apple TV? Now, here's another, and I watch all of these things on my Apple TV, but they one of the things that I've caught them doing is sometimes, like, if you want to go to see a particular show and you do it through their little interface, it'll take you to the wrong and it's always to where the money is at.
Oh, 100%. They never give you the option you want.
Right. So that one's written poorly. And anyway, there's my pet peeve for all us streaming people that stream everything. I am tired of the fact that I have 10 different streaming services and paying more than I'm paying for what my simple cable was.
Yeah, I must say my pet peeve is Comcast and their terabyte data cap. So who's ever the president of Comcast, eat a dick. And you can quote me on that.
You talk about Comcast.
Eat a variety of dicks.
Did you saw where Comcast came out and said that they're saying uploaders are killing them. So I'm sitting here thinking everybody knows that when you look at not everybody, but those of us that play around with technology to a degree, we understand the fact that there's a difference between downloading speeds and uploading speeds. Right?
Yes.
Right.
2 minutes.
Yeah. So hurry up and get this out, is what John's telling me.
No, it's my subtle dig at the old guy.
Yeah. So anyway, with that said, when Comcast came out and said uploaders are killing us our speeds, and we just can't handle it anymore, and they're sending out all these messages to Comcast.
My little 2.5 to 5 megabits up is killing them. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting here going, what the hell are they talking about? The minute they said that, I'm going, somebody wrote this. This was a intentional trying to explain why the fact that cable sucks.
You know what's killing them? Everybody is streaming 4K content.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not saying it.
I had to turn that down, actually off on my Apple TV because it was actually causing me to hit my data cap.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's expensive. Oh my God.
To go over your cap.
Yeah, of course. It's like $10 or $20 per 10 gigs.
So I am in the Starlink beta. I just was notified today.
3 minutes.
So, how does it go from 2 back up to 3? I thought we were in a 1 hour show. It doesn't make any sense.
So it's been an hour and 3 minutes.
All right. So we're starting all over. We got a whole other hour. Yes.
If you want to do it,
we need that producer to come up with more content.
I could easily rant for an hour.
So it'll be interesting to see And I don't have my equipment yet, so I have no way of being able to do this. But one of the things I want to do, I'm actually thinking about doing a YouTube on this, about the Starlink and unboxing it and seeing really what the real world speeds are. But we're in beta, and they keep saying you're in beta. Remember, that won't count. And sometimes your internet won't be there. And it's like, what? I mean, wait a minute. You want me to beta test this thing, and then you turn around and you tell me I may not have internet?
Right.
It's like, come on, Elon.
4 minutes.
Oh, come on. So anyway, so that'll be interesting. That'll be the report when that equipment eventually comes in, which is anytime between now and late in 2021. I like the way they put that too. That was a pretty interesting email.
That's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California pariah, the fat man, the old guy, and who the hell is that, Preston? As always, thank you for listening.
Good night.
Goodbye.